Mm. Go ahead and call meeting order.
of the United States of America, and to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I see Dan's on Zoom. Dan,
Are you there, Dan? Log on and go back to bed.
I think he said he had to go to South Bend or something.
Oh. Well,
Guess we can skip that. And then EMS department. Jonathan O'Hara, $270.42.
This is the estimate what they got for this month, or actually they're a month behind, I'm sorry. And Larry did some numbers for the paper on the back. He's gonna explain that to you.
Well, good morning.
morning.
Looking at our numbers, not too bad. As we know that Acumen brought us in about $47,000. Just go round numbers for you. $47,000. We had an increase in our operational expense of $107,000. That was predicted due to the holidays of the overtime, staff taking time off, and our ambulances needing repairs and maintenance. Along with that, we finished up with the projects that were started by the previous director and was not paid for. So that's how we saw that jump up so high. As of today, there should be no more projects that we don't know about. It should be all caught up. So predicting those numbers will start coming down more. We did do, as I told you last meeting, a lot of hiring to cut the overtime. So not too bad. Moving on, any questions on that before I move on?
So it's, I mean, the 107,000 doesn't seem too far out of line with
No.
August and September,
Yeah,
but it's a significant drop in the collections. Is that-
yeah, and thank you for bringing, I was gonna bring that up and I totally blew it off. At this time of the year, you'll start seeing a small drop in collections. That is because, like any other company, they go on vacation, they have closed offices because of the holidays, stuff like that. So instead of them working 5 days a week, they may only work 3 and their production is down. When you have insurance companies at this time of the year, insurance companies tend to hold their money and try to pay those claims later because of financial reports. So they want to look good on financial reports. So we see that too. And then private pay customers, as you know, hold their money for the holidays. I would say we're going to see that increase again. Just the stuff I get by computer that I send over to Acumen, I'll get notification of Medicare making a payment, then I forward it to them. I'm seeing more of them coming through. So hopefully they're catching up.
So this is more of a timing issue
It
with-
is.
with billing rather than call volumes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can start printing call values where we come in so we can see what we're doing. I was going to, and again, blew it off, forgot to do it, but we can start looking at that too and seeing how that plays a role. I can tell you that we've been busy, not an issue there. Any other questions about? Awesome. Talking about the budget, everybody wants to know about the budget. We look good. We're doing some transfers of accounts tonight, and it looks like we're going to end up with a positive number. I do not see us asking for any additional. Once we get those funds transferred to the departments that are needed, we should be able to flow on through the year with no additional needed. Now, knock on wood, and hopefully something don't happen, but little things don't think it's gonna be happening. I think we're gonna end up good. With that, our ambulance fleet is ready for winter. We took the time out, oil changes were done, tires checked, windshield wipers replaced, got them all winter ready. I do have one truck that will be returned today that had to get a fuel tank put on it. Although the fuel tank is special order because it's custom, so those funds are in the budget, so I don't have to come and ask you for additional. I've been working with the service repair shop on that, and we'll be good there. So our trucks are good, the buildings are good. You know, later in life, maybe remodeling them, but that's down the road. I'm not worried about that. Staffing, we will have one EMT retiring in January 1st. And I did have one EMT leave staff to go to Valpo. I did replace that one EMT, so I have one EMT opening and 2 paramedics. However, we are with our part-time staff, we are able to cover the overtime and keep it to a minimum. So overall, I think we're looking good. Hopefully we continue and keep moving forward. Any questions, comments, or anything you guys have for me?
Are we making progress on meeting the hospital needs? As far
Yes.
as transfers?
Yes. We're still waiting on the contract with them. I'm told that because of the holidays, it's probably slowing down. However, we're still doing their emergencies. When they call, we'll do emergencies without a problem. We're meeting their demands. I don't think we have any complaints. I haven't heard any. I'm in contact with them at least once or twice a week, seeing what's going on and how we can help them better. And it looks good. Really no issues there, as long as I know. So if you do, please let me know so we can take care of them.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good holiday. Thank you.
We have Lisa Dan and Abby Lockman. I believe
Thanks for having us.
Maybe one day.
those.
Well, Abby's passing out her information. She had reached out to me a couple weeks ago and said, you know, would like to get information out to elected officials to just kind of introduce herself and let you know a little bit about her expansion at Lock Monday. She owns the Knox in Bremen Lock Mondays and has actually purchased land south and west of Save-A-Lot on 35 for their expansion. Well, it'll actually be a relocation. So while she owns the business, and she can give you more information, she doesn't actually own the building here in town. So
Correct.
go ahead and take it from here.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name's Abby Lockman. I'm a 4th generation car dealer. I'm as Lisa mentioned, in 2019, I bought the Ford store here in town and the Chevy store in Bremen too, and I also have a car dealership in Elkhart as well. That one in Elkhart is sort of my family's generational store, and it's been a goal of mine to grow and add more stores and become a little bit more of a regional car dealership, still a family-owned business and growing in many ways. I had a page a little bit about myself, but we're looking to grow and build a new facility for our dealership here. As Lisa mentioned, we brought this property down the road, and I had a little square building on it. We've demolished that. It's about 10 acres. We're going to be developing it, clearing that land and putting on a new dealership on it. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the market here in Stark County for vehicles. So if you see that added some, it's called snapshots, cross-sell data. It's data we use in the automotive industry, tracking registrations for the county. And on this first page, you'll see this is Ford, just new Fords registered in Stark County through November so far this year. And if you take a look at this top left-hand box, you'll see that the biggest, the places where folks from Stark County are going to purchase vehicles are largely outside of Stark County. But if you look at the next page here, you'll see on it's the middle left-hand box, Ford has a market share of new vehicles in Stark County of 19.1%. It's about 12% in Indiana in general, so it's quite a higher average here in Stark County for Ford. And then the next page, you can see that in addition to being number one for new car, it's number two as far as used vehicles that are registered in Stark County. And you can also see the top sellers here in the corner, and just some really interesting data on where the folks of Stark County are going to buy and purchase their vehicles. And obviously, for me, I'd love it to be more here in Stark County. And here at Lock Monday Ford, one of the biggest challenges I have is the facility that we're in. So we're looking to grow and expand at this new location. I'm working with a designer and build firm out of Wisconsin called the Redmond Company. If you look at my presentation, I've got some more information about Ford. There's a measurement we call units in operation, and that's a measurement of the service potential as far as cars that would go through our service department. So it's Fords that are 10 years old or newer and registered in the general area of Stark County. So we've got about 2,000 or just under 3,000 units in operation. So that's potential business for our service department just for it. That doesn't include other makes and models, which of course we service in our service department as well. The future that I see for building a new store, it's a design that Ford specifically calls their medium volume signature facility. You can see kind of this is sort of what Ford's sort of standard look would be. It's not necessarily what my design exactly orientation wise would be, but it's about creating a destination for people to come and purchase and service their vehicles, a really wonderful facility for our technicians to work in, state-of-the-art service facility. And another special thing I want to add is a electric vehicle charging network. So Ford has a new Model E program that they announced earlier this year, and which involves some standardized. Oh, I'm sorry. You can see where where the current store is, just wrong way. We're moving it down near Save-A-Lot there. So, Ford's new Model E program specs on it. It's about adding customer like retail public facing EV chargers that are available 24/7 for charging electric vehicles. I'm not sure there's anything like that nearby where you can.
There is not, and I believe it's going to be
I think it's going to be need to. Maybe it's not. I don't think that this market is necessarily like ahead of in the EV curve, but I think it's something that you'll see people want to have the option, and we've got to have that available for the public. So it would include two 24-hour public-facing charging stations, some other infrastructure that comes for a car dealership when we service EV vehicles is having the right special tools and equipment in our service department. You need battery tables, you need a forklift, you need a lot of different special tools and charging ability within our bays. To add, to be able to service electric vehicles in addition to the ICE vehicles, the internal combustion vehicles. So a little bit more about what we're building. So Ford Signature medium volume planning facility, they would require us, based on our planning volume, to build at least a 15,700 square foot building. I would like to build a store that's not just built for the volume that we have right now, but something that's a store that's going to be able to serve customers for 30 years. I want to build it right the first time kind of thing. So I'm looking to build something potentially 17,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet, depending on, a lot of factors. Sure. And specifically, most of that square footage is going to be coming from expanding our service bays and being able to serve those units in operation. Right now, has anybody ever been to the Ford store over here and seen our service department?
It's very small.
Yes, it is. It's and it was built, I think, in the 30s. But so when it comes to a service department, it has what we call a 5-bay star pattern. So there's one entrance and exit when you're pulling in your vehicles in and out. And as far as service capacity, that's pretty limiting because It's really hard to move jobs in and out. It's hard for a technician. A technician can really only work on one job at a time. Typically, I'd like to see each of my technicians have 2 lifts and a flat to work on. So they can be working on 2 different jobs. They can have a flat that's taken care of. And so it'd be really about building bays and going from something like a 5-bay start pattern to something with a minimum of 15 bays to serve those units in operation. So right now, we have 14 full-time employees. I'd be looking to add at least 10 full-time employees, mostly in the technicians in the service department to serve those customers in our area. So
They also, in addition to their space that they have, they are renting, leasing.
yes,
The little building that used to be the ambulance building across from,
right,
the
yeah.
gas station.
So what we're doing in there right now is our wash bays. We do some of our used vehicle inspections in there too. If you can imagine, if you've ever been to our store, having to wash cars in that tiny little area in addition to service the water going everywhere is a problem. So we use using some lifts over there too and adding some additional capacity. The reason why I'm here today is because I wanted to share this news of expansion and things we want to do and meet you all and ask if there's any help from the county that we can do to make this the best possible facility for the people of Stark County. And a lot of that help would go to Ford's EV mission. I've included a page in here, what Ford is estimating the cost of installing all of these chargers and the different other types of technology that they're requiring for it. So they have 2 different levels. A Model E certified is sort of their junior level where you'd be able to do some specific work on different EVs and you would get a limited amount of allotment for selling EVs. So their full certified is called the Elite program. Their estimation capital investment for this is $1.2 million per dealer. For the EV infrastructure. Now, that's mostly for retrofitting a old dealership. So some of that cost I'll be able to wrap up into building a new dealership anyway, but this is going to come a lot from the actual chargers, forklift, some of these special tools that I spoke about. So it's a really, really big investment just to bring this EV capacity to a new dealership. So
And I have reached out on the federal level. I do know I talked to IEDC. There really is no state incentives. It's not a manufacturing industry, which they are kind of particular with as far as state incentives. But if there's anything, even tax abatement, I'm reaching out to federal to see if there are any federal programs as far as EV. And I've also reached out to INDOT to see if potentially there could be anything available through INDOT. So Abby wanted to meet everybody, just kind of let you know what her plans are and if there's anything in the future as far as any kind of incentives through the county, perhaps even tax abatement that you could discuss. Anything would be helpful.
anything would be helpful and help me build the best possible facility that would be something we can serve the community for decades, and really a dealership for Stark County that's a dealership of the future.
You're gonna go in front of the council.
We are going to be back at
Good.
4:30.
That's where your tax abatements are.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But we wanted to introduce you guys, Abby, and
Appreciate it.
yeah.
There's not any anticipated zoning issues with this. Is this far enough south of Knox that
It's-
that 2-mile zone isn't a concern?
I don't know. Let me
Okay.
check with the city. It's probably right at about 2 miles. I don't know.
And 2 miles goes to the total area.
Oh, it does. So it's before, it's within the 2-mile jurisdiction. So we can talk to the Stark County Plan Commission, we can talk to the city and just make sure. I mean, you bought the property zoned, what, commercial?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that is appropriate, but we'll just verify everything that's in. But if there's anything we can get from the city, and since she's basically outside of the city limits, I don't know what that would look like, but we certainly wouldn't mind going to a city council meeting as well to see what might be out there.
Yeah, if anything, I just love to share the plan about the future and what we're building.
Good plan. I like it.
All right.
So, of
Thanks for coming in.
course, any questions about EV or anything like that, I'm a good resource.
I have a stupid question,
Okay.
probably a very stupid question. When it comes to these EV charging ports, is it specific to Ford models or is this something that, I mean, if somebody has an electric Chevy model or BMW?
No,
they
it's
can pull
something,
in?
so Ford's plan is to make something where any EV could come and charge at their
Okay.
network. So part of the manufacturer sort of winning the EV race is building the infrastructure for people to be able to charge the most, right? So you'll see Tesla's, they've built a really big charging network. So Ford's plan is to use the fact that they have a Ford dealership in every single small town to build a charging network. So they will be able to charge other EVs, but Ford's plan is to sort of win the hearts and minds of customers through that, their availability, and also they have the capacity. Ford's, the biggest manufacturer in of vehicles in America, so they hope to win the sort of volume battle. So Tesla can make EVs, but Ford actually sells more EVs as the top selling EV manufacturer in America, just because they have already the capacity to build so many vehicles.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. All right. Before I leave, just a
Yes.
couple of quick updates. North Judson, the 14 acres that were left in the industrial park has been sold to a company out of Chicagoland area, a lumber type company. I don't know exactly what their product is. They would actually like to bring product in via rail. So I've been talking to the Hoosier Valley Railroad. They're excited. They want commerce to come in via rail. So working with them. And hotels, I've been setting up meetings recently to try and find the right brand fit. Our feasibility study said, yes, you can support a 50 to 60 room upper mid-scale hotel. So working on securing investors local as much as possible. And just meeting with the folks out there, the Wyndhams of the world, Cobblestones, to try and figure out what is best for us. We believe that we have land secured right next to First Source Bank. The dentist, Advantage Dental, has bought the property, 10 acres. He's putting a new building for his facility right along 35 and said he would be happy to invest a couple acres of his land for the project behind that. So it would be a 3-story hotel model. So working very diligently on that. Between our business and our leisure families, it sounds like we would have a very successful hotel here. So we continue to work on that. So those are just a couple of updates.
The meeting I sat in, I think our, the challenge before us is finding investors.
Yes, right. And, they're kind of coming out of the woodwork.
Good.
I've had people approach me. I've had people that own businesses say, you might want to get in touch with so-and-so. I have not spoken to them on the phone, but there could be potentially somebody who has kids at CMA that do this on a regular basis. So I'm trying to make all the connections to find investors to get it going. I won't stop until it's done. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
We'll be back at, is it 4:30?
Yes.
4:30. Okay.
Thank you again.
Yep.
Hi.
Good job.
Thank you. Mr. Allen. So we have a couple of different things that I wanted to bring up on building maintenance. First thing I had quoted out was our camera system and our door system. The quote that I have is not exactly, the guy didn't give me what I needed, so he's gonna come back. But looking at an old quote, I didn't give it to you, it's from Vermillion. If we stay with Stanley or we replace Stanley, that's our actual, I'm sure you're aware, control system. We're probably gonna be looking at close to 600,000 to replace all those cameras and door locking mechanisms. They are failing, the cameras are skipping, there's not enough room in the server, so as soon as I get those quote, I will bring that back. Your Nelson system, that is for our servers with dispatch, from my understanding. That the system we have now, does not meet the federal requirements. So if the system does go down, it's gonna take up to 6 months for Nelson to even get the parts in to bring the dispatch reporting system back, which is very, very bad. If you flip to the third page on the Nelson system, you'll see that the actual system is 48,000. And they give a discount of 13,500 and it comes to 39,000. That's what we're looking at to repair that system.
How degraded is it now?
Let me see. As you know, I'm not an IT expert here. So how integrated did you say?
Degraded,
Degraded.
as far as the capabilities it had when it was installed, and now what are the risks of,
It could go down any second,
okay.
anytime.
All right.
So that's something to keep in mind. The second one, American Pump Repair, that is for our pit, that separates debris. So it doesn't go into the city. Currently, we have something that puts it in there and separates it out. That doesn't lift it up and out and into somewhere to get traveled off. Right now I'm paying DSNS every 3 days, $150 to come out and pump it from there to there. So this is just for the auger. It's 85,000. This company here, I'm still waiting. It's been about 3 weeks to get the quote on what they're going to charge me to put the system in. It's $18,150 a year for DSNS. So this would be more of a kind of a permanent fixture. Those are just kind of a couple of things I wanted to bring to you guys. That you're in that we can have to look at. And figure out what to do with them.
Okay.
Thoughts, questions? I am not auger professional. I'm not anything like that, but I'll do my best.
How long are these quotes good for?
They're just waiting for me to let them know. Yay or nay. I do.
Let's say like this is probably the.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, we can
pretty.
wait till after the first meeting
Right,
for all of
right.
it, I would think.
Yeah,
I mean,
but this would be probably.
Yeah.
For this. All of it.
As soon as SAS gets back to me on a new quote, they
Okay.
came in, but they wanted to keep the cameras that we had and they didn't do the door mechanisms and that, so I asked for.
Or, this is something that'll require an additional appropriation outside of next year's budget.
Charlie,
Yeah, Dave.
just for reference for the council part of the meeting, I think the council's going to want to know the alternative of just continuing to fix things as they break, as opposed to replacing the whole system. I mean, I've talked to Pam before. I know, the somewhat of the ins and outs of what's going on here with this. The other thing is that I had mentioned this to Pam, and I haven't mentioned this to the commissioners, but I think it behooves us to meet with our contracting agencies that worked with us on developing the jail and building the jail. I realize that this is a very Stanley centric issue, but they represented our best interests when we put the jail together and they selected the vendors. And I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel, but I personally feel like this stuff hasn't lasted long enough. And the service that we've gotten has been horrible. And I think we need to, hold the managing, company firm that we worked with in building the jail. I think we need to hold them accountable. And I think they need to explain. I mean, if they want future business with us on the next project, there's the after sales and service part that goes along with being a managing company like them. And I think we need to, sit down with them too and just see if they can help leverage Stanley with us a little bit. I mean, it's a little ridiculous to put that much money in a jail that's only been open for 7 years. Just my 2 cents.
And we're up for whatever, we nominated that.
That's to me, if we would set up something.
Yeah.
January.
Yeah, there's more discussions to be had, I think.
So that's gonna cover your doors and cameras, but your 911 and your pump are gonna be completely separate from.
Yeah.
that.
All right. Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
And the skill center funding. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Have to apologize first for not being on the agenda. I'm still learning the government part of this job. I would like to install a security system at Skill. We have a system that we turn on at night for theft protection, but we don't have the capability to control who comes in and out of our building. What I would like to do is put an alarm system on the front where, like at the schools, when you go into the school, you have to check in with the front office camera, you buzz in. I would like to install a system like that. Also, it have key fobs for the instructors to get in and out of the building, and it would have alarms for the egress doors that I would like to install in the building. We have 2 entrances for Skill on the south side of the building. I would like to install an egress door in the classrooms and one in the shop and one in the tool room. Big thing in the news right now is active shooters and such. There's no way for our kids to get out of the building. You would have to come towards the shooters if such happened. Also fire, we'd like to get the kids out of the building as quickly as possible. I have received 2 quotes for alarm system and 2 quotes for the egress doors. If I take the 2 lowest quotes, that will put me at $18,052.76. Talking with Rachel, there are funds available from the county that have been appropriated in 2020, and I would of $16,292.74, and I would ask to claim those funds for this system. That would leave out of pocket for Skill $1,760. It's not in my budget, but I've made some really good moves this year. And for instance, we haven't had to buy any steel for our welding department. So I think we've had close to 2 tons of steel donated to us. So saving that money would be able to be put into the system from the Skill side.
Have you looked, because I know there was talk and I don't know what ever came of it, but there were proposed grants talked about after some of these school shootings. Have you even looked into if your particular organization would
I
qualify
did.
for anything like
I
that?
applied through the Department of Homeland Security. They didn't want to handle anything under $120,000. I also applied locally for institution that provides grants, and they denied us as well.
Well, we're at the end of the year and there's that much sitting. Might as well put it to good use and. You know, keeping kids safe is a good use, I think.
Yeah, it would be good use, because I can just walk right in.
Mhm.
I deliver part,
Right,
there's nobody checking me or nothing.
right, and it's, you know, the receptionist can't see who comes in. We're having a bigger window installed so that she can see who comes in and out of the building. And like I said, we would, people would need to contact us and we would have to allow them in the building rather than just walking into the building.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to release the $16,292.74 for the skill center.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. A motion to approve the payroll claims in the amount of $263,906.87.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to approve the vendor claims in the amount of $1,334,927.49.
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from Tuesday, November 29th, 2022? Make a motion. I'll second. Those in favor? For a motion to approve the minutes for Monday, December 5th, 2022.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. We have requests for courthouse keys. And security. 3 requests.
But since Jim's not here, they're gonna start opening and closing the building.
Okay.
A motion to approve the request.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
One thing I've been curious about lately. Why don't we do a similar process for the electronic card keys? Because it's pretty much the same access, but I mean, we're not regulating these at all.
Yeah, then. That's what it should be. More money those are.
That's what I'm getting at. I have no idea. I don't know who would.
Something we better look into.
Yeah.
Jim keeps track of all the keys of all the buildings. Each key has a number,
Mhm.
so he'd be able to tell you how many are.
Yeah. Who got them? Because, and who, are they just turning them into you now? Is it, if someone leaves?
I haven't had that instance yet.
Okay.
On the Porter County agreement,
That was, at the request of probation officer Abby White, and Justin has looked over the agreement. It's for Deidre. It's for Deidre.
Yeah, I think we proposed some revisions and they agreed to the revisions and that's been vetted already, so. I think it's ready for your guys' approval.
This was for like the juvenile program, the agreement that probation has.
I haven't
with them.
seen it. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like it puts us on the look for anything outrageous. I'm getting good at speed reading.
so we usually work with them with annually.
Yeah, and I was looking back in August when I made a few revisions, just to the terms of payment. It's for a 1-year term, an automatic renewal, but I do stipulate in there, we put in addition that, any cost increase would have to be renegotiated by the county from 23 to 24. I think this has been in place for a few years. There wasn't a lot that I had to do with this. Because it was pretty much just rolling it over from the last term to this term. Let's see. Yeah, apologize, it's been a couple months, about 4 months since I've looked at it, but yeah, an annual $14,000 payment. You know, for our portion of the housing of juveniles in their facility, but it's really pretty fair, so.
Was there a motion to approve this agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the director of maintenance position. I did find out Murphy. That's like his son and some girl, not him.
Oh,
Yes, I did find that out. In fact, the son's in Stark County, you know, right now. So he's not old. Applicants for that position. I don't know if you guys felt like any of those.
well, I think we need to do something because it's getting cold and if we have any problems over there, we need somebody that can respond to it.
Perfect. I think
Yeah,
might be a very good candidate. Seeing people friendly, you know, and stuff. And does live here. This is my opinion. I think he'd be a good candidate for that.
what are your thoughts?
That was it between them and.
Yeah.
That June on it. Pretty, yeah. He really started, so he's looking over trying for him. Travel time and. I don't know, these. That's enough money to live.
Well, either one we pick, we're gonna have to find something to use. Cause I'm not gonna ask them to do what Jim volunteered as far as
Mm,
using his POV to move things between the warehouse and campus.
Right. Mhm. Think it's good candidate.
I think it's John Murphy would be the way
Mm.
You gonna make a motion then?
I make a motion. John Murphy, the hires our lead custodian.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
You don't need to call him to get his onboarding stuff set up.
What's that?
Do you want me to call him to get his onboarding stuff set up?
Mhm. Yeah. You got anything else, Brian?
No. We're gonna try and give Dan another shot at responding. Dan, are you there yet? Are we muted? Okay.
Ask Amanda if he's there. She's on.
I know Dan had to go to South Bend, I don't know what he's.
Let's see what this text was.
Hello.
Hello.
There you are, Dan.
Hey, success. We've been trying all morning.
Yeah, I didn't, we were here at the meeting, didn't know if you wanted to go over the report, if you had anything for us.
Yes, currently we are 4 drivers short, but as of January 2nd, I have 4 people coming on board. So we will be fully staffed January 2nd if nothing happens between now and then.
Well, something's gonna happen this weekend from what I hear weather-wise.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a white Christmas, so that'll be good. As far as equipment goes, we're working right now trying to get toolboxes installed on all the plow trucks. One of the things that we realized on November 18th was everybody's got a chainsaw in their cab of their truck, along with whatever little toolbox they might have. So we're going to try to install toolboxes outside the cab, so there'll be no flying debris inside the trucks. And this is going to be a little bit of a challenge because every truck was built a little different. So we're going to have to do a little fabbing, but I'm pretty confident we can make this happen. We've already done 1 truck and we're working on the 2nd truck right now. As far as grants goes, Community Crossing is going to open January 3rd. We're working on getting that paperwork put together and get it submitted. As far as training goes, we just signed up with LTAP for drainage training sometime in March. So that's a little bit of ways yet. As far as the solar fields go, out in the Mammoth project, 800 South has really taken a beating the last month or two. So we put quite a bit of stone down on the side of the road to help the berm. It looks pretty decent right now. Hopefully the ground's going to freeze up and that'll help us through the winter months. We're also currently looking for a replacement truck for the one that we lost in the accident. That was a 2019 dump truck. It's going to be hard to find a 2019. They're just kind of like unicorns. They're hardly ever spotted. So we have found some 2015s out there. And I do have some quotes on my desk. There's a truck over in Plymouth we need to go look at. It's a tandem, but it's 10 years old. So we just gotta keep looking and try to find the best we can. And that's about all I have to report.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Dan.
Okay, well, everybody have a good holiday and be safe.
You too.
You got anything else, Brian?
Just been great working with you guys.
Been great, well, you also. You got anything, Mark?
What is going on with the Knox City Court?
So we've been trying to work out some terms, which I think we have as of this morning, actually, like an hour before I came here. I heard from their city attorney that we finalized the terms for the agreement that we've got in place. It will still have to come in front of you guys, but it won't kick in until January of 2024.
Okay.
So, again, as of this morning, we cleared all the terms. And I mean, they were good working with us. It didn't quite, antagonistic. So, yeah, I'll present it to you guys. It'll probably get in front of the council at night just because I just learned again an hour before I got here that it was finalized. So, and then I think Knox will probably act on it before we act on it, and then it'll go up for your guys' approval probably in January, but again, to start in January of 24. Just kind of to quote it off the top of my head, and don't hold me to it. Basically, they're going to be responsible for all salaries. We reimburse them twice a year. So the way tax receipts come in, I think they'll present us for an invoice for reimbursement for salaries and benefits. We'll provide the space for them to operate. Again, we'll receive an invoice in June and December of each year. And they will also need to inform us, I think, by May 31st. So it coincides with our budget season, if there'll be any increases from one year to the next. But again, I'll get you a copy of the finalized terms. I think what else may be pertinent.
Charlie and Justin.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Justin, I just wanted to throw in too, because I know the one thing in speaking with each one of the commissioners, one of the big concerns is essentially what it boils down to, as well as far as the economic agreement, is that we will pay for the fees or the minus, it'll be minus what they are reimbursed from the state. So essentially, there's no extra payment for any other services or anything. It's just, taking the amount to run the city court and then subtracting, what they're reimbursed. That's what we'll be on the hook for payment.
Yeah, there will be some offset under the agreement that they have to send along to us. Again, 4 years, January 24 to 24, to December 31st of 27. So it runs with the election cycle of the city court judge. And again, that's kind of just off the top of my head, but fairly straightforward. Again, it's kind of just been me and Dave working with Autumn and the mayor to try to get some of these things finalized so we can get it in front of you guys, but you'll see a copy of that in January.
Justin,
Yeah, Dave.
do you see any issues that the city council might raise if the commissioners aren't warm to it? I mean, do you think the council approving it tonight alone will afford them the comfort that this is going to proceed? Because their big worry is that we're going to drop it back on them, and obviously on a handshake, we're all agreeing that we know that we're moving forward with this, but with the commissioners not having some kind of like contingent approval or something like that, do you think that will that they'll have some exception to that, or do you think they'll find comfort if just the council approves it tonight?
I guess I defer to your opinion. I don't know any of their city council members. I would like to think that just based upon county council approval, they'd be comfortable enough moving forward and approving it on their end of things, but I don't really want to speak for them.
Well, let me ask you that, or ask you this. If the council does, move and accept tonight, is that binding enough for the county to the city that we could not back out essentially, like where that would give them enough?
That shouldn't be that binding, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I think that we would need commissioner approval as the executive of the county to make it fully binding. I mean, obviously you guys are the funding mechanisms, they know the money was there, but I mean, without seeing the agreement,
Yeah.
based on the terms you guys probably, I mean,
I would be confident, but again, I haven't seen it yet.
I guess my only concern is that, you know, by December 31st, they may still be wary of not having commissioner approval and they may ask for a special meeting. And I don't know if the commissioners, if you would be okay with that. You know, I kind of was trying to help you avoid that, but obviously with their remonstrance, we had to go back and do quite a bit of changes. And I do want to recognize Justin for that because he was actually working on that up to Sunday night and he had a lot of plans this weekend. And so he took a lot of his own time, you know, for us to come up with this final revision. So, you know, it's definitely not, you know, not on our part, you know, scheduling wise, but they did have some changes that they wanted to make that we had to put some thought into. Like commissioners, are you okay? Like, would we be able to tell the city that if we do pass it tonight, put a note there that you would be willing to have a special meeting for that, or how would you like to proceed if they want, you know, further comfort with that?
I'm not comfortable saying anything until I see it. I mean, I have no idea what's in it. I mean, I'm getting told it's a good deal, but I want to actually see it before I make any comment at all.
I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying, will you entertain a special meeting before the end of the year to do that?
Oh, it's done, right?
yes.
There's only 15 days left in the year. What can we, I mean, and half of that, I want to be out on holiday.
Well, it's not really complex. Could you review it now?
I think
Not right now, no.
I think I'd rather wait till January.
Okay. All right, I'll agree with that, Charlie.
It was time to look at it.
Yeah.
And we can, whenever you can get that to us, so we can look at it.
Are you comfortable with me roping Don into it as well? And since
yeah.
we're gonna be voting on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send it out to everybody, including the council.
You do me out.
You still got 15 days. Yeah, 15 months.
You got anything else for us?
I'm already left. I was gonna say, credit to Pam and Stacy. We've been getting inundated with FOIA requests, I would say 3 to 4 a week, which is fine. But they've been doing an excellent job of getting those done almost same day that I send them over to them. And again, we've been inundated with FOIA requests. So I wish she was still here and I could tell her, but they've been doing an excellent job, pretty much taking most of the work out of my hands and being able to do it themselves. So I appreciate them for that. But it's the only thing I have.
One more thing. Rachel, I owe you an apology for a month ago. I was agitated by some stuff that was going on and I took it out on you. That was wrong of me and I'm sorry.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's all I got.
No, but Larry did ask me if he could talk.
Yes.
I'm representing the Prairie Trails Club and we want to make a request for your jurisdiction, for a jurisdictional approval letter for a project that we're working on. I apologize, it wasn't on the agenda, but it wasn't until this Saturday that we were actually ready to move forward with it. But the project is to extend the Erie Trail that ends there at the edge of North Judson and Main Street through North Judson, there by where the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum is. And then go up to the northwest along English Lake Road for about like half a mile, or well, not even that much. It's a total of about 6/10 of a mile. And we are applying for a grant from the Indiana Trails Program through the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. One of their requirements is that we get this letter from the jurisdiction involved. We do go through North Judson, but once we exit the other end, we're in county property for a little period of way. And this is a map of it. This is Main Street. Let me look at that. Let me take it, make sure I got it right. Yeah, this is Main Street. And then we just cross Main Street and get to the south side. These red dots are the railroad tracks, and we go right along the south side of that south track. And then we'll cross Railroad Street over here, and we go up to this point here. And we just want to get your approval that, you know, as a county authority, that you approve that project going through county property. We've been looking at this for a number of years, and it's kind of come to the point where we've got approval from everybody. We had a walkthrough on that with members of our group, with the member from the town, the town council of North Judson, member of the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum, and the train master from the Northern Indiana Railroad. And at this point, everybody was in approval, and it's a time we want to make sure we get this project done while everybody agrees to it. We have approval from the Northern Indiana Railroad to give us room for a trail. That was something that North Judson did for us when they sold that to them, that they included that we could put a trail alongside of that rail. And they were just fine with our plan there. North Judson, we met with them last Monday, and they said, well, we need a trail there. So they were excited. They were as excited as I've seen them towards the project. And Hoosier Valley is supportive of it. Hoosier Valley and the Northern Indiana Railroad owns most of that property. There's one little point in there where North Judson would own it, and we'd have to deal with North Judson where we have some road crossings. But they all three were in approval of it, so it looks like we're ready to go as long as we can get the funding. And we're applying through that's the Indiana Trails Program, which is a new program. It's not the Next Level Trails Program, but we felt like with the smaller project like this, we could get that from them now. And Next Level Trails supposedly will have another letting for projects. And if we can get this one done through North Judson, which is the key, because it's difficult there, then we could apply to the Next Level Trails to go from there up to English Lake, up to the river. And the people of La Crosse, they had a $200,000 grant to work on the trail from the river up to La Crosse. So if we can get this done, get our next leg in, they get their leg in, we would have the trail going all the way from 700 East to La Crosse. But what we would like is just this letter, and if you could approve that, I can send an electronic copy to Rachel to put on county letterhead and have Charlie sign it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Larry. I remember at the North Judson meeting, I asked, and they'd answer, it's an easement sought in excess of 25 years, not an actual fee simple.
At least
property, or ownership of the property, just an easement.
Correct, it's an easement. Yeah, and we're working with some landowners. When we cross on the other side, there's a couple of landowners that we'd have to, beyond where this ends, this is Northern Indiana Rail property up to that point, and from there's a couple of property owners that we're working with. We'd like to get it up to 500 on that side of the road because there's a ditch on this side. So if we can get up to 500, we can come across, and then we've got that easement to go along the railroad from there on up to English Lake. And Port County would work on the bridge, and we'd like to put, a walk path welded onto the side of it. There's a path there now, but that's not sufficient, but we put a nice one on there. They would fund that part as part of their project. So I guess what I'm asking is that you approve that, and I'd send it to Rachel to put on your letterhead. And if you have any other questions, please ask. But we feel that's a good addition to the existing trail that we have.
I think it sounds fine.
I'll make the motion to approve the jurisdictional approval letter. Approve the approval.
So, second, all those in favor?
All right.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, Brian. Anyone else have anything from us?
Charlie?
Yeah, Dave.
I just wanted to give the commissioners an update about our planning for LAPC within Stark County EMA. One of the things that we've been working on throughout this year is planning a countywide exercise. Obviously, you and you would know more about this, and Mark, from my messages that I send out from the LAPC. But we are making our final plans today, and then we will exercise on the 27th in Hamlet, a hazmat exercise. That's what's known as a functional exercise, which means instead of just sitting around talking about it, we're actually going to do as realistic as possible a tone with an accident. We're using a live tanker. It's incorporating the school, the hospital, several of the stakeholders and entities across the county. So we're looking forward to that exercise, and looking at our infrastructure, and appreciative of the commissioners for your continued support of EMA and the LAPC.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dave.
Good luck with the exercise.
Thank you.
Thanks for the business, motion on the road.
So moved.
Right.